Hi, so the magazine article. You want to do a great job? Well, I've got some tips for you. Okay, my first one is to check out some examples, and there are some great ones on sciencenews.org. So if we head over there, it's a magazine, and on their website, they've got feature articles. So I recommend reading a couple of those because they're great examples of the kind of writing we're looking for. They do a really nice job of explaining studies from the primary literature in these longer feature articles. And you'll notice that at the end they give citations for all the studies they talked about, just like we ask you to do for this assignment. It's also worth checking out these Science News feature articles because they do a nice job of including figures. And so you'll see that they have figures from the primary literature, and they write really descriptive captions, and they also explain where the figure came from in those captions. So some great examples there. Okay, my next tip is a big one, and it is that it's really important that you get a handle on the methods that were used and also the connection between those methods and why they were done. So how do those methods specifically get at the hypothesis of the study? And also, how do those methods expand on what was known before the study was done? So these connections are really crucial things that we want you to explain to the reader in your article. Okay, so you've read the study, you've got a handle on the methods. How can you make your assignment stand out? Well, tell a vivid story. And this is where your background research can come in. And so maybe your background research can help you flesh out some of the aspects of your story, like the characters involved, or the setting, or the timeline of the events. So for instance, if you're picking this lemur paper, maybe one of your characters is the actual species, and so we can check out Wikipedia, for instance, as a good place to start for information on that species. Just paste the name in there. And you can see they've got a ton of information on the gray mouse lemur, including where it comes from, what its environment is like, and its mating and reproductive behaviors. So lots of details to flesh out there. You also might include details on the scientists as the main characters in your story. So if you choose the bowerbird study, the authors are Laura Kelly and John Endler. And if you Google them, the researchers will often have a website, their own personal website. Sometimes it helps to include a word like bird if you know they work on birds, in case there are more than one. There are a lot of Laura Kellys out there. So you can see Laura Kelly, the bowerbird scientist, has her own website and she talks about her research. And this can often be a way to get a sense of what this person did in the past and what they might be doing now that hasn't even been published yet. Okay, so my next tip is to edit, and edit some more. And I can't emphasize this enough. And it's really important when you edit to give yourself some time and space. And the reason is that it's very difficult when you've just written something to put yourself in the mindset of the reader. It's very hard to see where you've written things that don't make sense when you've just written them. So if you write your paper today, give yourself 24 hours, sleep on it, edit it tomorrow, and then maybe do that again the next day. Another thing you can do is bring someone else into it. So it could be your mom, but it doesn't have to be. It could be someone else who's working on an assignment for 210, or someone who's working on something in another class. But the point is to find that person who can read your paper and figure out the sentences that don't make any sense or are vague. And maybe you can do the same for them and everybody wins. Okay, so those are my tips. I hope you found this helpful. And I also hope that if you have questions, you won't hesitate to contact us and ask.